Hello guys, welcome back. It's Logical as always, and today's going to be a little bit of a different video. Basically, I'm throwing my hat into the Death Battle Arena simply because I'm currently playing through Dark Souls 1 at the minute, but the next Death Battle is the Chosen Undead from Dark Souls 1 versus the Dovahkiin from Skyrim. And the reason why I'm throwing my hat into this one is simply due to the fact that a lot of the videos that I've watched is literally going Dovahkiin sweeps low diff, and I have to say that it's not as easy as you might think. I'm assuming that a lot of people that are making these videos haven't played Dark Souls 1, but in saying that, we'll take it one step at a time. Now, obviously, I really need to make this clear because I really hope Death Battle does it this way instead of the other way. So option A is it's the Chosen Undead. They've done their research. The Chosen Undead from Dark Souls 1 versus the Dovahkiin. I hope it's option A. Option B is if they have mixed up the Chosen Undead with Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3. If they have all three games and they're using all three games as a reference, I'm sorry, but the Dovahkiin gets slapped. I'm making that very clear. Because Dark Souls 1 is the Chosen Undead, Dark Souls 2 is the Bearer of the Curse, and Dark Souls 3 is the Ashen One. Quite simply, if it's all them three versus, or if they're considering those three as one person and using that as their reference material to fight the Dovahkiin, I'm sorry, but the Dovahkiin's getting slapped. There ain't no argument in it. Dovahkiin just simply doesn't have the experience. Dovahkiin gets slapped. But if it's the Chosen Undead, again, I'm going to put it down like this here, right? If they're going to use the base premise of each character, so what I mean by base premise is Dark Souls 1 Elite Knight armor set, as well as the Astora Straight Sword and the Crest Shield. Fine by me. And for the Dovahkiin, it'll be Iron Armor with the Steel Straight Sword, I believe it is, as well as the Iron Shield. Fine by me. That there's at that stage, if you're going to take those two base ones, which is basically the footage that is used in all of the trailers and whatnot, if you take it just like that, I would say Dovahkiin has a 60% chance of winning. I wouldn't say it's 50-50. Dovahkiin probably at that stage would be stronger. But if you start to do any amount of research into it, because I have seen the arguments, if you start to do any amount of research into it, you will start to notice that it is not as easy as a win for the Dovahkiin as you might think. And the simple reason for it is because the more you look into it, the harder and harder it gets. Trust me on this one, right? So, will we start with feats? Sure, we'll start with the feats of each character, right? Dovahkiin got Archmage, basically Master of the Mages Guild, Listener to the Dark Brotherhood, Master of the Thieves Guild, also a Nightingale as well, but Nightingale more stealth related, or stealth archer related, but I'll explain that later on in the other arguments. What's the other one? He's part of the Companions Guild, which would also give him access to his werewolf form. Gives him a little bit more offense, but not as much defense. There is a reason for that as well. Obviously, the main big one is he defeats Alduin, which is a dragon. If you want to go DLCs, he also has access to the Vampire Lord form. He also has access to the bow, Uriel's bow. Can't remember the name of it for fuck's sake. Access to that bow. He also has access to Stalrim armor and weapons, which is obviously very powerful. Tuck out Mirak, and has access to the Thum, which he uses to control dragons, obviously, right? They're his feats, right? Not all of them within the context of Skyrim are fair and fine. Just to put that into context, it is fair, right? Whereas then you have the Chosen Undead, who has fought demons, dragons, gods, monsters, sentinels, archdragons. Would you classify Sith as an archdragon or a magic wheel? And then take your choice. Gods, because the big thing is you also have to remember is the fact that he took out the four kings, which have the ability to rip out your soul. The bed of chaos, which really isn't that much. It's more of a puzzle than it is a fight. but technically it's the god of life because they have the flame of life. Mm. Nito, the god of death, and Gwyn, the lord of light. Eh. So, oh, you also have to remember Calamite too, and the DLC, which is also Manus and Artorias, Ornstein and Smoke. Jesus Christ, right? Okay, yeah, there's going to be an issue here because as it sits right now, this might be biased because I'm not overwhelmingly familiar with the lore, like the overwhelming lore of Skyrim, whereas I'm incredibly familiar with Dark Souls. The way that I'm looking at it is the sheer feats of each character. I have to lean more towards the chosen undead, considering he's fighting gods. God beats dragon. That's how I'm looking at it. And like you also have to remember that Calamite's Calamite, the god, basically the dragon of calamity. Kind of a big title to work with. That's that argument aside. So in terms of feats, I give it to the chosen undead because his feats just seem a lot more dangerous. So they do. Now, in terms of equipment, and I'm going to have to go through this one at a time, aka weapons, spells, not setups, weapons, spells, rings, stuff like that there, right? So we're going Dark Souls 1. Well, no, we'll start off with the Dovahkiin because it's easier to compare the Dovahkiin to the Chosen Undead than the Chosen Undead to the Dovahkiin because Dovahkiin seems to be the predominant one that people seems to say will win. Dovahkiin's strongest armor set is either Stalrim. There is unique sets as well, to be fair, but none of them are particularly great. But the two best sets are either Stalrim armor or Daedric armor, right? That's a fair assessment, right? But it's only two sets of armor. Whereas the Chosen Undead has access to Hovels, Giants, Steel, which is also pretty good. What else? Stone, Guardian, Smoes. In terms of defense, I kind of have to give it to the Chosen Undead, for as rough as that sounds. Because in fact, the way that I still have to look at it is the fact that all of those armor sets are applicable in this here because it's how much access are you giving them. If you're going to bring them up to the absolute tippy top of their prime state, it's going to be a rough call because if you give the Chosen Undead access to all of those armors, the Dovahkiin's going to find it really difficult. And the simple reason to that is, I'm sorry, but I don't see an arrow punching through 3 inches of granite, aka Hamel's armor. I don't see it punching through that. At the exact same time, I don't see it punching through giants either. You sort of see where the issue is here as well. Is that is the issue, is the fact that in terms of sheer defense, the Chosen Undead really outmatches him. Like, really outmatches him. If the best that the Dovahkiin has to offer is Daedric, Dovahkiin only has one option, whereas the Chosen Undead has many options, all fit for different purposes. That's where my issue is with the gearing of the actual defensive sets. After that, there you've got weapons. Straight up, right? Dovahkiin has access to swords, axes, maces, daggers, great swords, great axes, and great hammers, right? And staffs as well, because you do have the likes of the Wabbajack, right? So he has access to staffs as well, which gives him an extra layer of versatility, right? But I need to the way that you need to think of it is it taken as a global state? Because you have all of those weapons versus what there is in Dark Souls. Dark Souls has substantially more offensive prowess. Yes, there are unique weapons in Skyrim, being the likes of the Ebony Blade. What am I thinking here? You've got the Ebony Blade, you've got Dawnbreaker. Dawnbreaker is a major talking point. I'll explain that in a second. Dawnbreaker is a major talking point, but I'll deal with that in a minute. You get the Ebony Blade, you get Dawnbreaker, you get Mehrunes Dagger. Mehrunes Dagger is a high chance to win. And obviously you've got the bows and other unique weapons. There is a lot of unique weapons, but none of them are particularly overwhelming. from my point of view, right? And then for the likes of the Chosen Undead, you've got the Moonlight Greatsword, you've got the Chaos Blade, you've got Quillag's Fury Sword, you've got Ornstein's the Dragon Slayer Spear, you've got Smoke's Great Hammer, which was a major talking point on their open clip, which is something to do with the weight, which is the strength requirement that goes with it. So in terms of just being able to lift Smoke's hammer, it might put him a hell of a lot stronger than a lot of people actually might think. So there is that as well. In terms of weaponry, you've also got the dragon weapons. Drake Sword is not particularly impressive. Dragon Great Axe, Obsidian Great Sword, as well as you've also got the Gravelord Great Sword as well. Oh Jesus, right? So in terms of sheer offensive prowess, eh, Jesus, like I'm trying to make this as non-biased as possible, but again, the more and more you go into it, the more and more fucked you're going to get. Because then if you go into rings, I think there's only maybe a handful of unique rings in Skyrim that do specific things. Plus you can self-enchant your own gear. That's fair. But then in Dark Souls 1 you have the likes of the wood grain ring. You have rings to boost stats. Havel's rings so you can wear chunky armor. You get the fat ring which just increases everything. You know what I mean? Like there's more choice of rings whenever it comes to that. So in terms of actual unique benefits, the rings kind of, again, the accessories, again, as hateful as it sounds, I kind of have to lean, I have to lean more towards the Chosen Undead again. This is what I mean though, is the more and more you go into it, the bigger issues you get. Because I'm not overinflating anything. I'm literally just giving you simple facts here, guys. Spells is a great one, right? Spells is a great one, right? Both of them have access to healing, right? So Skyrim's Restoration, Dark Souls is Miracles. Destruction magic in Skyrim is also paired with magic in Dark Souls. And that's more or less about the height of it. Other than that, there you got alteration, which is it as far as I remember. You got alteration and illusion. Doesn't really particularly matter. I would say the illusion magic does have a point, but whenever you also have to remember that undead report exists in Dark Souls 1 and it doesn't work on the player character, must mean that he has some form of mental resistance. So again, there's that, right? Obviously, you have restoration and miracles, right? But restoration in Skyrim is purely defensive, whereas miracles have a combination of defense and offense, aka Wrath of Gods, lightning spears. The sunlight spear, I'm pretty sure that's gonna sting if that hits, and so on and so forth. Emit force, so on and so forth. So in terms of restoration versus miracles, I have to give it to the miracles for the sheer amount of offense. Well, the balanced combination of it. So I do. I have to give it to that. Then whenever it comes to destruction magic versus sorceries, oh, hang on, I also forgot restoration also has ward in it, which allows him to defend against magic attacks. That's fair. So you can take so shockingly enough, oh my god, there's too many things because then you also have to take into consideration that yes, restoration has ward, but then Dark Souls 1 has Great Magic Barrier, which basically 90% nullifies all magical damage coming your way. Oh Jesus, we're gonna be here for a while. Destruction magic versus spells, but then destruction magic also incorporates cold, fire, and lightning, whereas you also have the likes of pyromancies and faith, or pyromancies and miracles as well. So you not only have you got magic to start slinging, you've got Wrath of the Gods and lightning, and you have pyromancies to start slinging as well. Even if the Dragonborn uses ward, he also has the dark sorceries and the dark pyromancy, Black Flame. You've got Black Flame, Pursuers, Darkbead, and Dark Orb, which are all physical related spells. So I'm not 100% sure if Ward is going to work on those spells, but if it doesn't, it's going to punch straight through, and the Dovahkiin's going to get hurt. So Illusion Magic doesn't work because Undead Report doesn't work on the player character. Destruction Magic, I would say, is about evens whenever you compare the other three schools. And then in terms of defensive capability against magical damage, both of them have defenses against it too. So at that stage, I will say that there is a little bit more of a tie, but in terms of yeah, I would give that an even tie. So I would. At the end of it, oh, I wanted to bring up the whole Dawnbreaker argument, right? So Dawnbreaker was a key argument that people used whenever they were bringing this up. Dawnbreaker works on the undead, but the problem is the chosen undead, and this is purely based off of Death Battle's decision. The chosen undead is both alive and dead because you can use a humanity to restore your body to human form. Once you die, you revert to an undead. But as long as you're alive and you have a humanity, you're considered alive. So Dawnbreaker's effect will not have an effect if he is alive. But if he is undead, then Dawnbreaker will have an effect. But then there's purely situation based. I'm struggling here, guys. I really am struggling. Everybody says Dovahkiin sweeps, but I'm struggling to see how he sweeps them so easily. Because I'm looking at this from a way that it just continue. The argument continues because again we have lifesteal, or is it lifesteal or human? Basically, you're able to steal your opponents. Dark Souls 1 has the Dark Hand. Grab, I steal your soul, job done. Skyrim has Soul Trap. Just one's a more direct version of just, I'm going to rip your soul out of your body. So again, and then at the exact same time, we both have defenses to it too, because I'm nearly sure, again, soul gems only work on souls, but we use souls as a currency, so it's just going to steal our souls. It's not going to actually kill us. You know what I mean? Whereas if we rip out the Dovahkiin soul, but then the Dovahkiin also has dragon souls inside of him as well. The main big argument that a lot of people are probably going to bring up is the Thum, which is obviously the shouts. You've got the stop time, dragon aspect. Well, is it not more slow down time rather than stop time? If there is a stop time, the stop time might be difficult, but at the same time, I do not think that the Dovahkiin has the damage output to stop him, if that makes sense. I don't think Dovahkiin has the damage output to kill the chosen undead. Personally speaking, because no harm if the chosen undead's clad in either full havils or full giants. I really don't think there's anything that's going to injure him, and at the exact same time, I don't think Unrelenting Force is even going to budge him if he's sitting with havils on. You know what I mean? I don't think Unrelenting Force is going to be able to shift him. It'll stagger him, sure, but it's not going to be able to lift him off the ground. It's not going to be able to ragdoll him if he's in full fucking havils. That's just not how that works. So it isn't. In terms of function of speed, in fairness, Dovahkiin, the only thing that makes Dovahkiin fast is the thing that makes him dash forward. That's his only speed adjustment, if that makes sense. Whereas Dark Souls 1, feats of speed, well, dodging lightning doesn't really count, considering lightning in the game travels incredibly slow for some reason. Reaction to, you've got spells as well. Some spells really do travel, dodging arrows as well, but the arrows travel really slowly as well. There is lasers. Seath does tend to cast lasers. Nito, I suppose, reaction speed. Nito sticks his spear in the ground and you get to dodge it. That would be a reaction speed thing. So it would be, yeah. I'm struggling to see how Dovahkiin sweeps, because I'm sorry, Dovahkiin simply, it's not as easy as a fight as a lot of people do see. Because even if he does stop time, it's temporary, and I don't think Dovahkiin has a weapon or a spell that can get through havils, especially if Great Magic Barrier's up. Oh shit! Fuck, I just remembered. Oh boy, breaking point. You have Vow of Silence, Karmic Justice, and Tranquil Walk of Peace. I'm sorry, but this just got so much more difficult. Oh no, oh no, 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 no. This just got so much more difficult. Vow of Silence will stop Dovahkiin from using any form of magic. As far as I'm aware, Dovahkiin has nothing to fight against that. Second, their Karmic Justice, if he pops Karmic Justice, right before he uses the thing to stop time and he wheels on him, he's just going to detonate on him. Dovahkiin ain't surviving that shit. And then Tranquil Walk in Peace, if he casts Tranquil Walk in Peace, it's basically the same as slowing down time. Jesus Christ, we're going to be stuck in this argument forever. Oh God, this is not good. This is not good. This is not going to bode well for either fucking player or either fucking fighter, because the two of them count. I'm sorry, but after just realizing that, I'm sorry, but this has just got so much more difficult. This is unnecessary, so it is. Okay, then. So we've got three big things that the Dovahkiin can't actually counter, and it's still allowed. Oh, Jesus. That's not good. That's not good. That's not good. Karmic Justice will end up messing him up if he does slow down time. That's if he can get the spell off before he can slow down time. Tranquil Walk of Peace slows him down, so if he gets Tranquil Walk of Peace off before he gets the Thum off, basically the Thum's going to be stuck in a stalemate. And yeah, that's going to be a fun one. So yeah, guys, look, comment down below, because a lot of people do think Dovahkiin has this easily in hand, but after everything I've just said, okay, then we're gonna have issues here. Like, I know I'm going to piss off an awful lot of people, but the way that I'm looking at it is it's not. I'm still going to say I can't be. I have to try and remove my personal bias from this. So I do. But the more and more I look at it, I would say it's closer to a 50-50 fight rather than a one-side slaughter. I would say that there, but I will still say that Death Battle's probably going to piss off a lot of people if they choose the chosen undead to win. I mean, the entire point of this video was to give reasons why the Dovahkiin simply doesn't sweep the chosen undead. But in saying all of this, I have now realized that the Dovahkiin has a lot bigger fight on his hands than anybody else might think. This is going to be a rough matchup. If anybody has anything to say, comment down below, please, because I need to know. And I know there's Dark Souls guys out there as well. Guys, please comment down below, because I need to see this. I need to see this. So I need to see what points everybody brings up, and I want to see, does anybody have any counter arguments. So guys, comment down below. Please enlighten me to how you think this will work out. And guys, stay logical, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.